We're here again. We have returned. This time, we're not playing a game, but we're talking about making one. And also drinking a cream soda. ASMR. So, what are we on about? Tonight, we are working on a fire puzzle game that I have not come up with a name for yet, nor even really a premise. Right now, it is kind of that unformed thing that springs from the idea of like a mechanic and a feeling, and you know, we're gonna see where it takes us. Where can we get that? Can we get that paper PDF? Sure. Yeah, that's not the PDF. This is the PDF with Robin Hunicke. Hell yeah. What a bright woman.
Hi, bro. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
How goes it?
It goes. Let's see.
So I like keeping this mechanics, dynamics, aesthetics paper open just as like constant reference when I'm doing any kind of design work. Rule system fun. Mechanics, dynamics, aesthetics. Right. What is the game's fun? And I think in this case, it's going to be primarily challenge and discovery. Challenge, obviously, because it is a puzzler. It's a puzzle game. Discovery, though, because I also want to evoke a sense of like exploring as you go through. I don't think I quite want to go for like an Indiana Jones style thing. I had considered the idea of having the premise be like a dungeon delver. But I don't know. I don't know. You know, maybe that could work, but there's plenty of other options out there too. I had also thought of like a forest ranger. Not dissimilar from Firewatch, but then I'd be worried about making it not mechanically derivative, but like aesthetically derivative. So I kind of shied away from that, but we don't really have a premise yet. We're researching, and we're trying to find out if the game will tell us what it wants to be. Okay, so some of this is going to be watching videos here and there, which in order to avoid being TOS'd, I'm going to talk about the videos as much as they're playing. So, you know, this guy, he seems bright, but I don't love the style of his videos, but here's what we got right now.
I don't have the right key, so we need to keep playing.
Who is that guy?
His name is Josh Beiser. I do not actually know who he is. Let's look at a little author bio. Oop. This is just posted by him. Researching and contributing to the field of game design for 7 years. QA for professional game productions to writing articles for sites like Gamasutra and Quarter to 3. Okay, cool. He has his own personal site, Game Wisdom, which is where we were looking at that other article. Video plays and analysis on YouTube channel. Interviewed over 500 members of the game design industry around the world. Wow. 2-time author with 20 essential games to study and game design deep dive platformers. Nice. Nice. Indeed.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, indeed. And he's definitely, like, I could tell from, I don't necessarily love the way that he writes or his style of video, but, like, I could tell that he's very bright. He's got some very good stuff in here.
Cool.
The player having to figure out the solution, grow it over time.
Indeed.
It becomes more of a learning process, almost like you're dialing it in terms of the solution. This could be such as, I need to know exactly the right velocity to jump in order to get across a gap or get to this point. So I'm going to jump the first time, I go in the pit. I jump the second time, I go over the platform, I fall. Third time we land, okay, now what do I do from there? Or setting up things such as a laser grid, moving items or enemies into a position that you need to work with.
What are you looking at?
Those lines. But
I am attempting to start my stream successfully.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Twitch.tv/MetaT.
Oh, no. Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it, Matt. Don't do it.
I'm restreaming you. It's not a host, but it's a host.
The restreamability, oh no.
Your screen is not filling up the entirety of the screen.
No, hang on 1 second. Hang on. Let me just... There it is. How about that? Did that work better?
It's better. Oh, are you designing... So you've got one screen and it's not taking up the whole of your monitor?
It is not taking up the whole of my monitor. I should probably fix that on OBS, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if you can scale a window that's... You probably can.
You probably could, right? Like...
Yeah, so if you go to...
I mean, like, my window can be a little bit bigger anyway.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking to you. I just have to see my chat, right?
True. But if you go into... filter, like if you right click on the window capture, go to filters and then do scaling aspect ratio, you should be able to change the resolution and force it to a certain one. I don't know if it'll let you go bigger, but it'll...
It's okay. It's all right.
Okie doke.
I think I got it. I think that looks okay. It's just centered in it there.
Yeah, it is centered, which is nice. That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I see a mug in the chest, eh?
Yeah. You see it? Do you see it? You see it? It looks...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
Thanks. I didn't get very far in my, thought process. I was like, well, if he'd sent me that thing so I could work on the game, Well,
that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here.
Oh, okay, cool. Great.
We are researching for that game.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
There's more of a learning process that's involved with it. And because of that, this is why those 3 points are very important. Because the player needs to be able to understand that this puzzle that they're in, like pretend my screen here is a puzzle here, that what's there can be solved by the player at this time.
Mm-hmm.
If the player doesn't know what they have in terms of their tool set, or what is they're trying to achieve, then it's going to make that puzzle a lot harder to solve. Speaking of which, that takes us to our game footage, and I think a few of you know what's about to come up on screen. This is footage of course, La Mulana 2, which I've been making inches of progress on my own.
Are you watching him at a faster speed? Because he looks like he's talking really fast. Okay.
Yeah, I've got him at 1.5. It's a long video.
Time and stream.
Okay.
And this is an example of a game that has a really great Metroidvania core, but a really bad or even just incredibly frustrating.
Oh, is he talking about how to design a puzzle game?
Yeah.
Has to stem with how the puzzles are built in this game. The puzzle designs themselves are designed around the solution never really being in the same room as the puzzle, and that the puzzles themselves will all make use of different rules in terms of how you can solve them. Some rooms that have puzzles in them will have a blue eye that will basically close once you solve the puzzle or complete the task, such as in this one. But in other ones, there is no blue eye. And there are sometimes cases where you may not even know that there is a puzzle in a room or a secret way around.
So this is a bad example.
These tablets at you, as you just saw there, to try and give you clues. But here's the dirty little secret. Because the game is built on a non-linear progression, as in the player's free to explore wherever they go, you will find hints that have no bearing on the situation or even the area that you're in. And this is a very big problem. Because, as we said in the last part, the player needs to know what it is they're trying.
Yeah, so I think this is because the game that I have in mind is quite linear, I don't think we'll have that problem. But one of the things I know I need to keep in mind is like making sure that as I'm designing each puzzle, like the tools that the player needs have not only been introduced, but also like explained through gameplay in a way that makes it obvious what they can do with that tool and how they can use it to solve the puzzle. and having things be like temporally relevant. So like you don't want to introduce something like 30 levels before it's needed and then just expect them to remember it.
Right.
Because you need to solidify that skill like right as you teach it to them.
Right. I was trying to think, like how in the world you could do a puzzle game, right? And everything. And what I thought of was maybe like instead of, I don't know if you were thinking of like a side-scrolling blah 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 or what have you, right? But strangely enough, what I thought of, Matt, was this top-down view, right? And let's say I'm apparently going to illustrate it on my stream just to explain it to you, right?
Okay.
So
I'm gonna open up your stream.
You have like a starting area where like your character, they begin, and maybe there's like an item or something like that they get to pick from. And once they pick their item, a door unlocks and they go on to like the next area. And the next area has a puzzle. And, they beat the puzzle. Maybe they get some coins and they have to beat the next area and they get some coins again, and after they beat the puzzle or whatever, the monsters. Ashtor, let's sit down. Let's just sit down with our paw. Yeah. Right? Until eventually they get to another part of the map where maybe there's like a mini boss. And then once you beat the mini boss, you get to take another power up of however many choices you want to give them, right? Until they go all the way through the map and there's, the boss puzzle or what have you. I don't know if it'll be creatures. I don't know what you're thinking of necessarily. But
yeah. Interesting.
That was the thought of mine. And I guess you could do it, you could probably do it as a side scrolling too. I don't know. But to me,
so in this case, the power ups and such would be map dependent. They wouldn't like persist through the game.
I guess that's up to you. Like maybe some of them have a longer lasting ability, and some of them are replaced, right? So, maybe there's one that's just like you pick that item up and you just keep getting more and more coins. And since it's not a direct buff to your power, or anything like that, you can still take a power up that actually affects power or like defense or something like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll also say, I hadn't really considered there to be any combat in this, but honestly, it might be interesting. I wouldn't want to go like straight up like fight things and kill them kind of combat, but like combat where the combat itself is a puzzle could be fun.
Yeah.
Or where like you have, a like a turret or something that might try and damage you, but it can't be damaged by conventional means. You've got to solve part of the puzzle to destroy it.
Right. Well, and it can even be like, what are those? Almost like, because you like that hexagonal shape thing going on, where then each time you move to a spot, maybe something else happens where the enemy then also moves to a spot, and so you're having to figure out.
Yeah, that's classic puzzle design right there.
Yeah. And each one can be different, but I'm saying, like that could be a type of puzzle that you have to figure out. Yeah. Works good in top down.
I might also be thinking of isometric for this one. But top down could also work.
Oh yeah, I mean isometric or top down, I guess. Yeah. Isometric. I mean, if you did isometric for this, wouldn't that be more like what's that one game, like Bastion, right?
Yeah.
Where it's almost like diagonal across the way. That one was pretty cool. That would leave for a really cool like opportunity to do background stuff.
Yep.
Like maybe your character is going through hell.
Yeah.
Literally, and there's like fires below it since it's a fire putting out game. That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, hell actually could be a cool setting. I'm actually gonna put that one down.
Okay.
as an option for sure.
Sweet. I'm glad we're brainstorming this.
Actually, we could make it kind of like weirdly religious and like do Dante's Inferno.
Oh, jeez.
That could actually be really cool.
That could be pretty cool. I'm alright with religious. I'm fine with that. That's fine.
That could actually be really, really interesting. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try
Glad I
and
brought it
see if I can make that work. Because if
Okay.
we can, that I think might be a winner.
Sweet. I'm glad I said it then.
Me too. Hey, buddy, you're okay. You're okay, little man. You have a pacifier out here that I can give you? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Here. Try this on for size. No, not in your nose.
He gets a little salt with those boogers, you know? Maybe he needs some sodium.
There you go, buddy. Yeah. Relax. Yeah. Okay. That's definitely cool. All right.
Cool.
Alrighty.
Hey, I worked my first full day at my new job.
Nice. How'd it go?
It was fun, honestly. The people are so encouraging. Like the lady who's been training me was just like, "So you like to do art and everything like that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love art and stuff." And so we started talking about it. And she was like, "That's good. Like you should keep pursuing, trying to do that." And
Absolutely.
if that's what you like to do, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she is so nice. She's so friendly. Thank you, ma'am."
That's
Thank you.
awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
And I would imagine there's, especially if you're working like the evening shift, there's probably some downtime where you could be sketching in a sketchbook.
Potentially, actually, yeah. There's well, in that, I mean, so I think, I don't know if I told you this, right, but I had to negotiate the pay with the
Yeah.
guy, and like it went so well. He comes in today, and he's like giving everybody raise. Like he just walks in and he's like,
Whoa.
telling the other person that was training me, he was like, make sure that the manager knows to give so and so a raise and give you a raise. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy.
Wow.
But that is what he wants. He's like,
Wow.
I want all of you guys to be trying to get higher up. I want you all to be pursuing,
Yeah. That's
trying
cool.
to get better and know the job better and wanting to stay here.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay,
Sweet.
I don't really need that motivation, but I'll take it.
Yeah, why not, right?
Right.
If it's being offered, don't leave it on the table, right?
Yeah, nope, not leaving that. That was not correct.
Just so you know, your stream title is trying to earn money in game to buy items.
No. I updated it, Matt.
Okay.
You don't understand. How do I did it? Wait a second. I swear I updated it. Okay, hang on.
That might not be your. So your title looked right, if I remember right. I gotta refine the. Yeah, just designing and chatting, game art, playing art.
Okay, why is it saying something else?
Your live notification. So if you go to your.
Yeah, I launched it before I had changed it, and then I was like,
Gotcha.
"Oh, right, you're supposed to do that." I'm used to it back in the day when you used to have to go back into Twitch and like change everything all at once. And now OBS links directly to it,
But it won't change. It won't change your live message, which you have to do through the creator dashboard, I think now.
Which pops up on OBS.
Does it?
Mine does. Yeah, I have a thing that pops it up. That's how I had the Phasmophobia one even in there. I did that. Yeah. Maybe it doesn't. I hope it does. It does.
I got the Streamlabs dashboard. Chat settings.
No, it was under view.
Oh, you're in
docs.
OBS, not Streamlabs OBS. Okay.
OBS. I just have OBS.
Gotcha.
Streamlabs OBS. The heck is that? I don't pay for any of my services, Matt.
Streamlabs. Well, there is a premium version. I don't pay for it.
Okay.
I think the only thing.
Why did you jump down?
The only thing I pay for streaming wise is nothing. Actually, I can't think of. I don't think I pay for anything.
Nice.
Briefly, I had an XSplit subscription. It was not worth it.
Okay.
Might be worth it if I had more people watching me, but it is not worth it as where I am.
Okay.
Indeed.
Gotcha.
Now that you all had a lovely look on stream behind the curtain, let's get back to it. All right. Okay, so continuing this video.
Trying to do and what the tools they have available. In this game, you'll run into puzzles that you won't even be sure that you can solve, let alone what the game even wants you to do. And the game will try and the game will want you to parse a solution out of tablets. But again, if the tablet is not giving you the information that's relevant, how are you supposed to know what the solution is? Now, as you can see, I've been flailing around for this guy for about the last 20 seconds. And the solution to it comes later. In fact, I am going to fast forward just a tad. Where is it?
Oh, nope,
again, we can spend so many seconds stuck on a puzzle that's not funny. But we fast forward here. Now I have the solution to this little fight here. Now, I'll let the bar disappear here. But there is no clue along the path that I was on that told me how to fight this guy. And I may do one more fast forward in about a minute if we don't get there through normal running.
Is Steinmug the right name for this?
Is what?
Is this called a Steinmug? Is that what they're called?
Steins? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes, indeed. I think traditionally a Stein has like a cap on it, but people call them Steins regardless.
Okay.
And I think that is a totally fine thing to call them because they're basically the same thing.
Right. Why a cap? What's the point? Doesn't aerate?
I think that's actually a very good question. If I had to guess, it would be about the foam, but
okay.
I'm gonna Google it now because now I'm very curious. Why do Steins have lids? Lids on beer mugs serve as a sanitary measure, especially to keep insects out of beer.
Oh.
There you go.
They were so thoughtful.
Yep.
I guess that might be a thing. Okay.
I mean, especially back when they were first used, right? Less hygiene, right. Probably had a bunch of insects around where you were drinking your beer.
Gross.
You know. Well, also just like the process probably attracts insects.
Oh man, it is so smelly.
It sure is.
Puzzle?
I bet it does.
But if I didn't go that way first, I went the other way, how was I supposed to know? Now, I'm sure fans will comment, well, you're supposed to explore. But the game's rule set in terms of how puzzles are solved and introduced is very inconsistent.
Not a bad idea.
Some puzzles will guide you right in the room. Other ones will just be a random object or something in the room, and you're supposed to come back with a clue from another area to solve it. In fact, that happened in an earlier part that wasn't recorded. That I needed to go to one area to get the clue that I needed to solve a puzzle in a second area, but the item that I needed to solve that was in a third area. Now, right below my character...
Okay, when's he going to stop complaining about this game?
That is the actual clue to the boss fight. But again, the player's just going by
it's literally the rest of the video.
Or they challenge you to grow your own knowledge. So that when you solve the puzzle, you're going to be better at the game than you were before going into it. But with a case like this, and I'm just flailing around trying to solve things, when I get a solution, it doesn't really mean much to me because what...
Okay, does it have Japanese titles with English subtitles?
It kind of looked like it.
Did they do that just to look cool?
Ask you, or they challenge you to grow your own knowledge.
Okay, yeah, that definitely looks like Chinese characters at least. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Other issue. Entirely.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, so basically the idea that he's really getting at in that video, which is apt, is you want to make sure that the puzzles match the solution, that they are temporally and, if it's applicable, spatially local to the puzzle, and that they follow logically, they make sense.
Yeah.
And they should also feel good when you solve them. Yeah, I like it.
Yes.
All of
I
that
agree.
makes good sense. Excuse me. All right. So I think that's most of what we're going to get from this section. The big takeaway that happened before the stream there was this 3 questions thing that he outlined. Just to make sure that like your game presents these 3 questions clearly. What is the goal? What is stopping you? And what do you have to work with? And those videos, both that one that I just watched and the one earlier, seem to kind of be mostly just outlining those in more detail. So for stream, you can see my notes up here. You can read them yourself. I'm not gonna infantilize by reading them out loud, but basically, you know, it's more of what I've been talking about already because I had this all fresh on the mind because I just watched them like 2 hours ago. So that's what I was talking about. All right.
Trying to draw bubbles in my beer.
I believe in you.
I don't. The only time I've drank beer is like in a flight, you know, and I don't even think those little cups can get full enough to have a head on them. So I don't
Yeah.
know what a head of beer looks like.
Just Google Google that image of Hillary Clinton pouring beer.
Oh my gosh. What?
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Okay.
It's like
Okay.
it's oh gosh.
Okay, I'm not gonna do it.
It
Okay,
hurts.
stop.
It hurts. And the woman next to her is looking at the beer she's pouring like, what is this woman doing?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's a trend. Politicians drinking beer and they all have ridiculous heads.
No.
Okay, Obama's got a decent sized head. That's good. Although why does that look photoshopped? Or is there just some really weird lighting going on?
I don't know,
Or
that does look
makeup.
really Photoshopped.
Maybe makeup that
makeup.
wasn't meant for that kind of shot. No,
Yeah,
it's
I don't know. He's
that's
got a really
definitely
serious face.
that's definitely photoshopped. That is
like
100%.
he's got a game face on. Like he
Uh-huh.
is like
Uh-huh.
yeah.
But that's 100% Photoshop. That's not how faces work. Look at that. There's a neck and then there's a chin, and that's just not
What
how
is
that works.
Why is that happening? Like where's that shadow coming from?
It's not.
Let's think about this.
It doesn't work. It can't work. But at least the size of the head on that beer is reasonable. And he's drinking a Guinness, so I can respect that.
Look at how long though. Look at this other guy. Did he just ask for a smaller head, or did he have to wait a really long time and like his head has shrunk on his? Like what?
Hard to say. Hard to say.
Oh, he's been sitting there just like, can the rest of y'all just get your dang beer so we can take the photo? And I can drink my beer.
Yep. That tie also kind of looks like it's made of plastic.
It does.
Anyway, this is enough. That's enough of this distraction.
Wax. It's like
Or wax.
waxy. Ew, gross. What the heck?
All right. Why adventure games suck. I don't know if I actually need to read this. It was linked from that other article. Let's just look for puzzles. Oh, there are 40 mentions. This is a very long article. Okay. Got it. So this is probably the origin or the inspiration for the Angry DM blog, which is like super long form discussions about things, which I would love to read this another time, but this is a stream and I should not read this on a stream. That'll be like 30 minutes of scrolling through a just simple text page. Oh, it's not that long. Never mind. These are comments. These are lots of comments.
Oh, interesting.
It's only like half of the length in article. It's more reasonable.
Everything that I've looked up shows obviously that a head of beer is a whole lot of foam coming out of the top of the beer. All right, fine. Forget my simple. Maybe they're drinking soda. I don't know. Okay, I'm kidding. I'll change it. It's fine.
They could be drinking champagne, just some bubbly.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's like actually, what might be a helpful reference image is like there's definitely some like be great if I could spell stylized. Like this kind of thing where like the head of the beer is overflowing and just like dripping down the side.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. You get it.
Yeah. I looked it up.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Everybody does it that way. Oh, okay.
It looks so enticing. I mean, how could you not?
All right. Okay. Sure.
All right.
Is that what it is?
Designing Monkey Island. It's now the futuristic year of 2004, and we're all driving around in flying cars and wearing silver jumpsuits. We are? Damn, I missed it. All right.
Yeah, really. Where was I in 2004?
Adventure games are officially dead. Oh, okay. Grumpy Gamer. Got it. Okay.
Jeez.
Make sure you read the whole thing. I'm probably not going to read the whole thing.
You got this.
This is 3 pages.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not doing this. Nah,
Holy cow.
not happening.
That's a lot of pages.
All right. Conclusion could not be more true. Let's read the conclusion then. Skip to page 3. Did you read all that? If not, good for you. Dumb as your television enjoying ass probably is, you're smarter than genius average gamers who, in a truly inappropriate display of autism level concentration, damn, willingly played the bird brained events described in that passage. For those of you clever enough to have skipped the walkthrough, permit me to summarize. Gabriel Knight must disguise himself as a man called Mosley in order to fool a French moped rental clerk into renting him the shop's only motorcycle. In order to construct the costume, Gabriel Knight must manufacture a fake mustache, utilizing the style of logic adventure game creators share with morons. Knight must do this even though Mosley does not have a mustache. Lovely. So in order to even begin formulating your strategy, you have to follow the daredevil logic of Jane Jensen as she pilots Gabriel Knight 3 right over common sense, like Evel Knievel jumping Snake River Canyon. Maybe Jane Jensen was too busy reading difficult books by Per Lagertvist to catch what stupid Quake players learned from watching the A-Team. The first step in making a costume is to fool people into thinking you're a man without a mustache. Wait, sorry. The first step in making a costume to fool people into thinking you're a man without a mustache is not to construct a fake mustache. Still, you might think that you could yank some hair from one of the many places it grows out of your own body and attach it to your lip with a masking tape in your inventory. But obviously, Miss Jensen felt that an insane puzzle deserved a genuinely deranged solution. In order to manufacture the mustache, you must attach the masking tape to a hole at the base of a tool shed and then chase a cat through the hole. What?
Okay. Props for creative puzzle making?
No. There are no props for that.
What?
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 In Jane Jensen's exciting imaginative world of books, masking tape is some kind of powerful neodymium magnet for cat hair.
Same.
Remember how shocked you were at the end of The Sixth Sense when it turned out Bruce Willis was a robot? Well, check this out. At the end of the puzzle, you have to affix the improbable cat hair mustache to your lip with maple syrup. Oh, jeez.
This is gross.
That's just... Okay, I didn't need to read all of that. That was enough pain right there. Some people will tell you they're not really dead. They've just morphed. If this is true, they've done a pretty bad job of it. Okay. RPG, FPS, and RTS designers could use a little of the self-proclaimed wisdom of the past. Okay. Okay. Alright. So I'm 15 years later. So this is in 2004, 15 years after 1989. Yeah, that was... Yeah. Not sure I agree with everything in here anymore. I learned a lot from Monkey Island 1 and 2, plus countless kids' adventure games at Humongous, at some point in the near future, annotated, yada yada. David Fox for passive-aggressively forcing me to post this. Alrighty. The ones I enjoy playing most are adventure story games. Should I read this whole thing out loud? I feel like I shouldn't. It's a lot of reading. All right. Well, we're gonna do the design work part of it, I guess, and I'll read out my notes as I take them. Okay.
Okay, please do.
Yeah. So if you're
Then I
watching the
can know what
stream,
I should
you can
start
read
working
along
on.
with me, but it's. I mean, this is all still research notes. I should hopefully get to something that is actionable on your part by the end of the night, but
Okay.
it won't be this.
Okay. All right. I'll try to keep being patient.
I know I've asked a lot of that from you.
It's fine. Fine, I'll make it.
The desire to call them interactive movies comes from a couple of places. Sorry, man, I gotta disagree with you here, Ron Gilbert. It comes from Hideo Kojima, and that's it. It's the only place.
It comes from exactly one place, sir.
And that place is a very odd Japanese man. Who, if his imagination were let to run amok, would wreak unimaginable havoc on the games industry.
Louise.
Oh, I love Hideo Kojima. What a strange, wonderful man.
Is he like the what did he make, Matt?
He did all of the Metal Gear Solid games. He did Death Stranding, and he did oh shoot, what's the other recent one? He did Playable Trailer. That's one. I feel like
Is he like the Tim Burton of game design?
That's not a bad way to describe it. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
I wonder if I feel like he's working on something currently. Well, if they are, it's not on the list. Alrighty. Lots of talk about sources, movies, differences.
Okay.
Okay, that's going to be an important note for puzzles. Oh, you know what? I should probably keep links to the things I'm looking at.
Oh yeah, please.
Alrighty. Okay. Yeah, so I think the big one so far is players don't always do what the designers intend. And that is an important thing to remember in any kind of puzzle design, because there are going to be people who are going to play it. They're going to be like, I don't get what I'm supposed to do if we don't design it broadly enough that people can try things out in different ways and figure it out.
Right.
Which is quite the difficult task, as I can tell you from DMing a Dungeons and Dragons game for 2.5 years.
Okay.
People will do everything except what you want them to.
Yes. Wasn't that kind of the point though for Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a super broad design space, and it's awesome to play around with. And then for the most part, the thing that makes games a little bit harder in that respect is that in D&D, you can just kind of go like, okay, yeah, that should probably work, and I'm just gonna like make it work. Whereas in a game, you have to predict what's going to work and develop systems to make that work, because you can't change it on the fly.
Yeah.
All right.
Doo-doo.
Mm-hmm.
Game designing, never whining.
Wait, where did you come across that one? I used to use that one a lot.
You.
Okay, you just remembered it.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good title.
it was. It was
I
a
should
really
use it
good
again. I'll use it next time.
one. Hmm.
All right. That's an analogy.
Yeah.
Talking about frustrating puzzle games. Most are solved by chance or repetitive sessions of typing light candle with match, light paper with match, light rogue with match, until something happens. This is not tough gameplay. This is masturbation. What?
Okay.
What?
What?
What? I don't know where that came from, bud, but I can't say
think
you
he's
do
doing
you.
it wrong. What the heck?
Yeah, you shouldn't be using a match, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think that's healthy, dude. Like, you might want to see somebody about that one. That is, not okay. Oh, no. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to kill.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, so one thing that he mentions, he specifies like not just the end objective, but sub goals need to be clear as well. So for us, that can mean like I want to call them checkpoints just for a shorthand, but basically steps in the middle that won't get you the full puzzle solution, but will get you to the next part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Will need to be clear.
Okay.
Okay. Ben Kenobi pretty much laid out Luke's whole journey in the first 20 minutes of Star Wars. Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind what the player knows and doesn't. That relates to some of our things from earlier. Such as the making sure that you give clues in a time and space proximate fashion.
Yeah.
Okay. Live and learn. I already know this, but just to put it down as a note so that I hammer it into my head even more. Basically, bad design. It is bad design to make a puzzle or situation where you have to die in order to figure out what you need to do.
Wasn't there an entire game built around that, though?
Yes, and actually I have another idea about such a game that might be that'll be different from that one, but also interesting. But this, like when you say it's bad design to do X, that is unless you have a game where X is like a conceit of the game.
Is the objective.
Right.
Like they said.
Like you turn it on your head, you make it a little bit different, and then you design around that to make it intriguing. Right. So like Super Meat Boy is, I mean, it's not exactly like that because I wouldn't say you're really solving puzzles, but you do just kind of slam yourself into a meat grinder over and over again. But the iteration cycle is so fast. They designed it in such a way that dying is not a consequence. It's just part of the game. You die, you go back, you do it again. You die, you go back, you do it again. And it is as fast as me saying that. It's not like wait for loading screen, wait for respawn, reorient, go back to place I died and do it again. It's like done.
Right.
So you can throw these rules on their head sometimes, but you got to make sure that you are doing it in a way that is cognizant of the fact that they can be bad if you don't do it well.
Right.
Okay. That's a good one. Plot hole exercise.
I want it.
Needs information.
What did I just do? Nope, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I'm gonna add my own little thing there. So, plot hole exercise. Tell the path as a story if you find a place where the main character needs information that the player had to die to get, and so the character wouldn't technically have anymore. Or what I added was like, if it's just not presented to them and you have to say, oh, and they just kind of know this because they're the main character, then you have a plot hole.
Yes.
Backwards puzzles.
I hate it when people do that.
I think because of the linearity of the game, we can mostly be safe from backwards puzzles, but I want to make it as a note just in case.
That's looking. Okay.
Actually, I should be using the Twitch music thing so there's some background music while I'm just typing.
Twitch has a background music thing?
Yeah, soundtracked by Twitch so that you don't get DMCA'd, you know? Get DMCA'd all the time. I want... Oh shoot, I don't know if this will... Okay, so that does get in through my audio capture. Cool. All right. Yeah. Lo-fi beats. You know. I need to turn that down. Hey, can you talk real quick, Ellie? Ellie? Did she walk away? Are you there? Oh. I'm not getting picked up. That's real weird. What is going on? Can you hear me? Nope. Could stream hear me this whole time? Yeah, they can. The heck is going on?
I don't understand.
That was really weird.
There you are. You're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what the heck was happening.
Yeah, me either. I really couldn't tell because you like looked like you were talking, but I wasn't listening because I was only listening in Discord.
Yeah,
In a minute,
Discord
I was
was
gonna go turn on your stream chat, but
Discord was just not picking me up. I don't know.
that's weird.
Stream was still picking me up, and it started as soon as the Twitch soundtrack thing started. So I wonder if it does something weird with audio devices.
Maybe. Yeah.
Let me try it
It
again,
totally
and
could.
we'll see.
Okay.
So start talking, like say a sentence.
Oh, yeah, definitely, bro. So I'm so excited now to like get promoted, have a job. 6 months from now, you know what? This girl's gonna have insurance.
Yeah,
I've waited like how many years for freaking insurance? Never had that stuff, you know?
for real.
So excited. So
It's about
excited.
time, right?
Right? So glad I listened to just, you know, the timing for leaving the
Yeah.
coffee shop. You know, it was good. It was good timing. It was good all around.
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
glad.
All right, I can hear you, and I can still hear the beats, so that's good.
Sweet, I can hear you too.
Excellent. Good, good, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Backwards puzzles. Probably safe, but they're puzzles where the solution is presented before the challenge. We don't want those.
Okay.
Alrighty. I forgot to pick it up. Never require a player to pick an item up that is used later in the game if they can't go back and get it when it's needed. Okay. It's very frustrating to
Dude, it
learn
was
that
the
assuming.
bane
Yeah.
of my existence, and what was that? Like every single Sega Genesis game.
Oh, yeah.
You miss a freaking item, and you like have to restart the whole level. It's like 2 minutes before you reach the end, and you're just like,
Yep.
Why was that one item like why did that one item decide everything about like all of my rest of my gameplay at this point? Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. Give hints as to what might need to be picked up, etc. That's fine. Puzzles should advance the story. Well, the puzzle is the story, so this is fine. Oh. Is baby getting hungry? Baby.
No,
might
I
be.
ate, thank you.
Okay, I think he's alright for now. Alright. Drama, timing.
Hmm. Okay. Kind of, I guess. I don't know. Like all of me is like, I want to add more details, and then all these other parts are me like, keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Ugh. trying to add color now.
Okay, Hollywood time.
I like to use Gumroad for stuff. Have you ever looked at that?
What about Gumroad?
Yeah, it's I guess it's not really like Skillshare, but it is Gumroad. People, you know, I think it's art specific. I'm not entirely sure. Whereas like Skillshare is whatever, but you know, you go to Gumroad. The first one was the right one, and you know, you could type in different I guess like specialties that you're looking for, and people will have like made a lesson on them, and they'll share them.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually
That's
a really
cool.
cool place.
Yeah.
It's where I got my mentor.
I know, you've talked about it before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good place. Let's see.
Okay, so one about like Hollywood time versus real time. There was a thought that I had about like, you know, maybe there's like a slightly inaccessible part of the puzzle where there's like a fire that's moving on its own that the player can't directly like fix at first.
Okay.
So Hollywood time might be a useful thing to use there by making sure that like the fire doesn't just like go and like create an undramatic moment by just like burning the whole thing down before the player can do anything, but like time how the fire moves with how they're acting so that it looks like it's always like neck and neck.
Okay. That sounds like a very much you design thing. So long as you are up for that.
I'm up for anything, man.
Okay. I guess I should have my other thing out here trying to learn how to do pixel art instead of doing this.
Excuse me.
You're excused. Just this once. Dad finally talked to me today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh no, I haven't been ignoring you." I was like, "Dad, you've so been ignoring me, dude." Dad. But it was good. It was really nice to talk to him. He was like, "I really miss talking to you." I was like, "Well, I'm really glad you answered." So that made me really happy. But I was telling him about our little like we had. I didn't think that we'd ever have drama at the hotel, but boy, did we have drama today. Oh my goodness. And you know, I'm just learning, so I'm sitting there. People are like trying to check in and stuff like that, and I'm just like, "Hi, I'm learning. I think I'm doing this right," you know. It's like nobody trusts me. And I'm just like, "No, I got you. Yeah, you're definitely checked in."
Yeah.
You know, someday somebody will charge your card probably. It's fine. But yeah, it's really fun. Dad was like, "Oh, I thought there wouldn't be drama at this one." I was like, honestly, I thought that
There's
too.
drama everywhere.
Well, you know what? A girl can hope, alright? I
True,
really wanted
true.
there to not be drama. I did. Alright, so my goal with this is that I don't have to have line art, but I'll keep the line art around the outside of it so that it keeps its shape. But this is going to be tough. Very tough. We'll need more variety of colors, I guess.
Okay. This is keyed towards text-based ones, but that's a product of its time, and I think it could still apply to newer games. So they're saying like reward intent, like if you're typing in like the thing that you're trying to do, right? Then if you call something a box and it wants it to be a mailbox, they're gonna be like, I don't fucking know what this means. So
right.
What that looks like in the context of like more action-y thing, like more visual and physical, like virtual physical things.
Yeah.
I guess I could see like being slightly lenient with like timing or spacing.
Okay.
Giving hints if we can tell the player is trying to do an action but isn't in the right place or at the right time. I don't know. That's not quite right, but
That single player of Splatoon, the Octo expansion pack, honestly has some very interesting kind of puzzler style stuff in it, even.
yeah.
That what you just said kind of reminded me. There were some of the puzzles where like you had to be so specific with your aim that I was like, this is too much. Like you literally have to be sitting here watching like somebody else do this on a you know, on YouTube or something like that, where they are telling you like you need to aim for this exact spot and then wait for this timing when this thing is past this other, and I'm like, yeah, somebody had to have tried that like a gajillion times before they got so frustrated and like, you know, eventually figured it out. But like, that's not a puzzle, that's, you know, a rage quit.
Yeah, for sure. And that is what we want to avoid. We don't want people like, especially gosh, I never ended up doing the video, but I want to do it at some point still. This idea of puzzles of cognition versus puzzles of execution. It's something that I got really interested in. I haven't seen anybody else make that dichotomy yet. But it really like settled into my mind when I was playing through Breath of the Wild. Because there would be some puzzles that were like, yeah, you really have to think about the solution and figure out what it's trying to get you to do.
Sure.
And that is the puzzle. But then, especially with Breath of the Wild, I think because you had like the motion controls and like some, just Zelda design lends itself really well to like skill-based mechanical execution.
Yeah.
There were puzzles where you were like, I immediately know what I need to do. But now the actual challenge, the puzzle, is getting the coordination right, is getting everything timed and placed correctly.
Yeah.
And I think that both of those puzzles are really valid in video game design space. And it can be, the best puzzles have elements of each, right? But most puzzles are going to be primarily one or the other.
Okay. That makes sense. For sure.
And I guess so that sounds like it's something that's like what you want to avoid is having the cognition part be pretty easy, right? Like immediately being able to figure something out, and then have the execution part just be frustrating. Not hard, frustrating. Hard execution challenges are fine, but if the player is just sitting there like, I am not frickin' getting this, like, That's not what you
Right.
want. You never want the player to just walk away because they can't mechanic your game well enough.
Right.
Unless
Yeah.
that's the point, but that's really rare.
Yeah, definitely. That is crazy.
It's certainly not the point in a puzzle game.
Definitely not. Jeez. Oh, hello, person in my chat. Yeah, that reminded me of, something else. Because I know, like, yeah, because, like, you don't, you know, you can save those kinds of puzzles for the people that do Mario Maker, right? Like,
Yeah. Yep.
the people that play those, obviously, they are prepared to rage quit,
Mm-hmm.
so
Oh, yeah.
they can keep them.
Alright, unconnected events is just threads of the same stuff. We don't need to worry about that. Caging the player. Required to solve a small set of puzzles in order to advance, at which point they're presented with another small set of puzzles. Just an endless cage. Interesting. That sounds a lot like the game design I'm putting forward.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if this is wrong in our case, because this is talking more about like story/adventure games, not
Yeah.
dedicated puzzle games.
Okay.
And in adventure games, like puzzles are often like they're in service to the rest of the game. They're not the game itself.
Right.
That said, it does bring up a point that like I've seen in a couple of puzzle games where it's like give them a way to move forward even if they can't solve this one puzzle. It doesn't necessarily mean they won't be able to solve the next one.
Right. Well, and I think too, like the other thing, especially with puzzle games, right, is like there isn't usually like some kind of plot that is gonna move forward with the character.
Right.
And there's nothing really key for you know, where like you should have something that does flow through the entire thing. You know, like that wouldn't make sense that it's like, I mean, like maybe I don't know. I don't foresee anything being like, you know, here's this item that you got at the beginning of the game and now you need to bring it all the way to the princess, but like there's no way that you're gonna lose it. Like that, okay, sure. But if it's like, you know, I don't know, there is no puzzle where you should be picking up items that are detrimental to you finishing the game. Puzzle games are for, you know, just enjoying,
right,
relaxing.
Red herrings can be
Yeah.
useful, but I would like it shouldn't be detrimental. It should just be something that's like, okay, I tried that and it didn't work. Let's go back and like see what the real solution was.
Exactly.
And I'd be really careful with red herrings in puzzle design, honestly. Especially in games, there's a preconceived notion that if you pick something up, it's going to be useful somewhere.
Right. Well, I don't know. We didn't get very far when you got to play that Kingdom 2 Crowns with me and everything, right?
Yeah.
In a way, you could say that is puzzle based. It's not really, but it has elements that are kind of puzzle-y.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, you need to spend your money, right? You need to do all these things. You don't really think about it until you've you know, played the game a couple of times maybe. But you do end up having to go back to islands. You do end up having to go back and revisit places that you've been to before, which this is an interesting mechanic because as you progress the game further at other islands, you gain more technology in order to advance things that you can go back to those older islands and you can improve the same things there now that you have that technology, right? Which, you know, is an interesting mechanic, but again, you know, probably pretty rare in an actual puzzle game where it's like, okay, now that you have this ability, we're going to send you back to level 1. You can solve puzzles again. Right. No, thank you.
Interesting. So giving the player options outside of just like making hints available and making it so that like they can maybe solve the puzzle even if they wouldn't be able to figure out the solution completely on their own. Like we were talking about before, but then he mentions, so he talks about like normal, like those puzzles as being caging. And another way to think about it, a better way to approach it, is thinking of the player as being outside those cages and the puzzles are locked inside. And that's interesting to me because that kind of makes me then think about like a hub and spoke type thing instead of a straight linear progression. I would avoid doing too much interdependence between them to avoid, the problem of having things received and or learned in different parts and then the player forgetting about them when they get to a part where it's needed, that kind of thing. So I wouldn't want to make them too interdependent, but it could be an interesting way to kind of like let them move on even if they can't figure one thing out. Gives them kind of more options to maybe go find a puzzle that's kind of similar to the one they're stuck on, but that they can solve, and then they come back and they're like, oh, now I get how to do this.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And that could be interesting. That could also maybe tie in with the setting of hell somewhat.
Oh, for sure. The idea of being stuck in the same place over and over again.
Well, that and just like making it work for the I don't want to call it quite a story, but make it work for the design. Like, if they're in this first circle of hell, right, and they're, there's a bunch of different puzzles that they have to solve before they can move down to the next circle. Maybe those puzzles are helping out different people, and so it kind of gives them the opportunity to go and release another soul or something like that instead of just trying to bang their head against the wall on one.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean.
It's a thought. I don't know if I love it, but it's a thought that I'm gonna just write down and we'll see about it later.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that would bring a storyline in that, I don't know, like if you bring in a storyline, to me at least, I'd probably be less likely to be like, okay, now that I have that thing that I could go back and do that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go backwards. If there's a storyline, it needs to be way more linear.
Well, I think the linearity comes from the circles, right? You have the 9 circles of hell, and the non-linear sections are how you go about each circle itself.
Yeah.
So you still have to get all of the... Go ahead.
In contrast to our 9 circles of hell, are we going to do the, what is that, the interior castle?
Yes, yeah, that's the other one that I want to do. Yes.
Okay, cool.
That is definitely on the docket as well.
Yes. Just checking.
That is the game in the back of my mind is like, I want to make this as like a pretty big game one day.
Okay.
Like that's we've sold a couple of games and I'm like, yeah, I could take like a year or two, maybe even hire a couple of people and we'll get this done.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking.
But if we have to do it smaller scale than that, that's okay too.
Right. Yeah. Well, currently it's just me.
Right. Exactly.
Full design. So.
Yep.
So you get me that stuff that you want.
Yes, indeed. All right. How linear the game is. Catching the players that easy to catch a game.
Really miss having a Mac because I only know Mac shortcuts.
Yeah.
SOS.
When I had to switch between them, I would keep like a cheat sheet
Well,
up
it's not
near
even
where I
that.
worked.
It's just that like the control and alt are in opposite spots, right? And there is no Windows key. There's no Mac key on a Mac that'll take you to the start menu. That's
Right.
like in the way of my control and my alt.
Yeah.
And so, I have my fingers here and I keep mistaking, Windows for alt. Like I have them in the right order now, but I can't remember that there's that one button in between them. Keep my fingers off of it. So it's fine. I'll figure it out someday. I have got some of my shortcuts on my tablet though, so that is nice. I don't know why I made this so small. I should have made it way bigger when I had zoomed in 700%. That's me.
That's looking really good though.
Oh, thanks. I'm trying. Let's see what it looks like if I tried to size it up or something. Let's just see how bad it's gonna get here. Actually holds its pixels pretty well.
Yeah.
Actually. Well done, Sketchbook. That's what you get when a program is made by Autodesk. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm kidding.
Alright, that was a long read, but cool. Oh, look, this is just fucking extra credits. Excellent.
Oh, was it really just that extra credits?
No, this next one that I'm looking at.
Oh, okay.
Oh, geez, this is another long one. I'm just
Theirs
probably
are
gonna read through
always
this and take a
long.
lot. No, their videos aren't long. They're just the people
Yes,
who are
they
writing
are.
this. They're like 8
Okay,
minutes.
well, everything that I always end up watching is like 3 hours.
What?
Oh, yeah.
What on earth are you watching from them?
I don't know. I must be watching playlists.
Or like their live streams?
I don't know, man.
Like their individual design videos are like 10 minutes or less.
Oh, their talk about design stuff always seems so long. Maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know.
Maybe. You might be thinking of somebody else.
No, it's definitely extra credits that I'm thinking of.
They're like always short form. I have watched like every non-live stream episode of their design stuff and they're like 10 minutes.
I don't know, man.
Maybe
Oh,
maybe you're
yeah.
watching the live streams or a playlist.
Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Ellie, what are you doing now? You know what? Better not to ask this time. Yeah, don't look. It's questionable what I'm drawing. I am drawing.
Recently had an aspiring designer come up
yeah.
to him and say, "Man, puzzle games are easy. Anybody could make a Bejeweled clone." He wasn't entirely
Obviously,
sure how to
it's beer
respond to
going up
that.
the side of
Saying
a
that making a type
mug,
of game
Matt.
is easy is something you never want to do as a designer.
Right.
For one
What's up? Sorry, I was watching the video.
That's okay.
What'd you say?
I said this is obviously beer going up the side of a mug, right, Matt?
Oh yeah, for sure. 100% that's beer.
100%.
That's beer.
100%. That's sticky beer right there. That's.
it's a mistake.
Oh, it might be too late for
Wait,
me.
is this article just a transcript?
Is it?
This article is just a transcript.
That'd be funny. Holy cow. Is a transcript of one of their shows?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's
So it's...
Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get him some food.
Oh, sorry, did I make you hungry? Taco Bell. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I don't do that. I don't think I liked that very much. I have to look up a tutorial thing of like how to draw a liquid grabbing onto the side of a surface. Okay. It's fine. Nope, I don't mean to keep hitting the Windows key. I really don't.
Alright, I've got this ready for whenever he wakes up.
There
Which
you
is
go.
going to be momentarily.
Okay.
Making a good game is always hard, regardless of genre. So making sweeping statements like that sort of shows a lack of curiosity. Plus, it devalues a lot of people's work, and it demonstrates that you're only examining games on a surface level. James didn't want to be too hard on him because, well, to be fair, this is a rather common attitude out there on the interwebs. So he sat the guy down and walked him through an exercise that James often goes over with his students at Digipen. And then we realized, hey, we could totally go over that exercise here. So get yourselves
It's
ready.
me.
This is the first extra credits practicum. Kinda surprised it took us
It's me.
74 shows
Oh,
to
no,
do
wait, that
one.
guy has a
To
beard.
get
Never
the
mind.
most out of this episode, especially if you're hoping to get into game design someday, I'm going to strongly recommend that you pause a lot and do each of these little exercises as they come up. Don't worry, I'll warn you and play a little music when it's time to pause.
No.
For the rest of you who don't feel like doing
I'm
math
talking
right
to the
now,
video.
that's cool. You'll still be able to follow
Okay.
along. Oh, and before we start, I want to give a big shout out to our friends at PopCap. First, you guys are awesome, and you go over the web version of Bejeweled 2. Today's exercises: go start up a new tab, get it fired up, and load up Classic Mode. If you've never played Bejeweled before, pause us for 10 or 15 minutes and get the basic mechanics down. We'll wait. First pause starts now. And we're back. Now, the first thing to remember when analyzing a game is that as game designers, we are scientists. We engage in the scientific method. We find a question we want to explore, we form a hypothesis, we test that hypothesis against empirical data, and then iterate on that hypothesis based on how it fits with the data we've acquired. So let's start with a question. How does Bejeweled 2's leveling system work? Okay, first we need to form a hypothesis, and then test that hypothesis against real-world data you acquire from playing the game. For example, you might guess maybe beating a level is determined by the number of moves you make on that level. When you make enough moves, you progress to the next level. Alright, so you got your own hypothesis in mind? Awesome. Now pause us and go test it out. You back? Cool. So how did it go? Was your hypothesis correct?
I did not
You probably
catch
found
this color was this dark early enough.
that progressing through levels is actually determined by
My
the player's
bad.
score. So now we need to dig a little deeper. We're going to try to understand if there's a purpose behind
That
this system.
should be
So
better.
the first thing we're going to do is establish how many points does it
That's a
take to
little
complete
better.
the
It's not
introductory
much
levels. So it's time to collect some data, i.e. play some games. Pause this, go beat the first 6 stages, record your score, and come back.
Alright.
Go.
Yeah, we'll just watch this and then we'll talk about it if there's anything useful for us.
I'm going to do something here you should never actually do, and I'm going to round these numbers a bit to make the math easier for the show's sake. But you should never do that.
All right.
Bad designer. No. All
I
right,
feel like
on
there
to
are
the
some things I could probably already think of that I should be working on isometric, huh?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
numbers. To beat level 1, it takes 500
You know,
points.
like
To beat
isometric
level
fire.
Sure. I guess the main thing in my vision of this game, the fire is mostly going to be applied to things.
Right.
So if it's possible, I don't know. And I guess it might not be a bad idea to do something like make a lot of the tiles similar in their structure, like their top structure, so that you can make the same fire asset work for being overlaid on most of them.
Right.
Or make it so that it can be like a partial overlay that gets like cut out around the other object and then just displays behind it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying.
I do. I'll figure it out.
2, it takes 1,500 points. To beat level 3, it takes 3,000 points. Level 4, 2,200.
Tedious
Player
parts.
experience, those numbers. What would we have to do to our current data set to make it more accurately represent the player's experience? Well, the player rarely starts at level 1 thinking, oh man, only 13,200 more points till I reach level 7. No. They spend much more of their time thinking, how long until I beat this stage? So we're going to have to take the difference between each level value to see how long it takes to get from one level to the next. Much more useful than simply looking at raw point values required 1 to level 2, level 4, then 6, and to get from level 6 to level 7 takes 4,400 points. Okay, so now that we know how many points it takes to get between the first few levels, we can see it gives us a sort of weird, slow, exponential curve. But now what? How do we make this data useful? Well, let's return to the player. What other system affects how the player experiences this system? Well, of course, the scoring system. So now we have something else we need to get data on.
All right.
Given level.
Is this
How about
is there
matching?
much
We're going
actually
to have to
about
divide the amount
puzzle?
it takes to get to the next level by the amount of points that a base match 3 will get you on.
That wasn't a sentence. I don't even know what I said.
It might be time for us to go to bed, Matt.
Nah.
Now you may ask why we're
No?
the number we've now
Okay.
come to, the amount
I'm just trying. I was focusing on watching a thing and then also trying to talk over it, and that was just not good for my linguistics brain.
of points to progress to the next level
Nah.
divided by the base points on the given level tells
Yeah,
us
it was
systems
pretty
have to
painful from
create a
over
level
here.
visible to players rewarded and make them feel empowered
Just
without
say.
breaking curve. But this lazier is really interested in strategic thinking gems until you need them, since they can no matter probably inferior game. The lazier designer who didn't shuffle the board between rounds would have created a totally different and probably inferior game. And the really incredible thing is that you'll see players who've played a lot of Bejeweled, no matter how casual, no matter how uninterested in strategic thinking, playing around with this system. Ask any long-time Bejeweled player, and they'll tell you
Yeah,
not to
something
use your
like that
special
might
gems
work, I
until
don't
you
know.
need them, since they carry over between levels.
Getting
But
there.
if you ask them
Getting
why,
there.
they'll probably tell you, well, because it's better, without a word about all the math going on under the hood. But the math ensures that that's the way things work, and it also ensures that they get a sense of that through playing. Also, if you rolled 3, or the Facebook version of Bejeweled, and then see if you can figure out why. If you're ever feeling stumped, just come back to the golden question. How Bejeweled? And then schedule starting January experience this. Well, that about does it.
Okay, yeah, that was not super useful for this. Okay, cool. Yeah. Wait, is this the same thing? This is the same thing. Okay. All right. Snicks. All right. Puzzle genre. Arguably most okay. First smartphone games. Thousands of puzzle games. There are lots of them. What makes a good one? Or rather, what mistakes to avoid? So that's this article. 5 mistakes to avoid.
That's a good one.
5 mistakes to avoid. Link. Alrighty.
Oh my goodness, Matt. So,
Yes.
house cleaning stories. cleaned this guy's house yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's very nice. He moved here from Virginia at the beginning of COVID, basically, before we knew COVID was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like literally is from like the Ashburn area, like yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was talking to him, he was brought out here by the energy company out here to I don't know, I guess he had been like doing freelance stuff. Anyway, he was a really cool guy. So like talking to him and stuff like that. But he obviously older guy does not know what to do with all the money that he has because I don't think he was not married. He definitely had a bachelor pad kind of deal going on. Like really hardcore, really cool bachelor pad. Don't get me wrong, but like he was bacheloring real hard. And he comes out and he chats with me and he's like, "Man, I'm jonesing for a cigar. I'm gonna go out on the porch and smoke." And I was like, "Dude, it is 11 o'clock in the morning. You live your life, man.
Man knows what he's about.
You live that life that you were. Oh my gosh. All right, sir." It was just he was quite the character. He was very funny and very friendly, and yeah, he was fun to talk to though, because I was like, "Well, have you gotten to like do anything since you moved out here during COVID?" And he was all like, "No, I haven't seen anything. I haven't gone out and done anything because I don't know what there is to do." And I was like, "That is a bummer because you live here now. Like you need to go out and experience things. Like you need to go." Out there. So I was trying to give him like places to go visit, and then I stopped myself because I was like, I really don't want him to, be like that some creepy old guy thing where he's like, "Well, are you gonna come with me?" Like that kind of moment, and be like, "No,
Yeah.
no, that's not what I was offering, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I was not offering you that." But he
Mm.
was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt's like, "All right, gonna kill that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Got too close to my sister."
Can't say anything like that on stream.
Oh, okay. My bad.
No. You can. I can't.
Oh, okay.
If I said those words, that would be probable cause.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I should stop streaming.
Oh, you're fine because you said I would be the one.
Oh, okay. I see. I get what you mean.
Right. Yeah.
I see. I have to fix this edge over here too.
Okay. So avoid breaking natural progression. Yeah. Okay. So that is the whole.
All right, Celtic knots. Things.
What items? Yeah, items. Solution patterns and items. Actually, solution patterns are something that I'd really like to see if there's any information on. I don't know if that's the word for it or what. But hopefully one of these articles touches on it. That would be nice. Buddy, you're not holding your own bottle yet. What's up with that?
Messaging me at 11 o'clock at night.
Who knows?
Really, it really beats me, unless it's somebody in a whole different time zone, which it's probably not. Oh, it is not. It's somebody like next door to me, basically.
Yeah, so thinking of monetizing, actually, these people bring up ads for hints. That's not terrible, as long as it's done well. Ads always are just... I wish that mobile games weren't so, like, price tag averse. Like, can I not ask people for $2 for the game and then just not put ads in it? Like, come on.
Yeah.
But it won't sell if you do that. It just won't.
Right. Yeah, seems to be that way these days.
Alright, avoid overusing mechanics. That's interesting. Wonder what they say about that.
Yeah, what is that? Because most puzzle games are based on like single use mechanic there, or
Yeah.
like single mechanics that repeat.
Or a small set.
Right.
Okay, sometimes developers will show off a variety of different mechanics to keep their puzzle games interesting and fresh. Usually okay. Oh, okay. They might be saying kind of the opposite of what that heading sounds like. They might mean avoid, like, overpacking mechanics into the game, not overusing the same ones.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say Exhibit A, Pokemon Cafe,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's literally one kind of puzzle game, and the only thing that changes is your character
Configuration of
gets
the
a
puzzle.
buff or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like okay. Okay.
Okay. One thing I've noticed is developers introducing a bunch of mechanics early on and then not using them. Yeah, we've got that as a note several times. Snicks is a great example that gives them a bunch of mechanics quickly, but uses them at each level. Just deepens design or gameplay through design and feels more organized. So let's watch this 30-second trailer real quick. Okay, okay. Interesting. Okay. That had some interesting things to it. It felt really good. Just the juice on that game was really nice. It was tuned very well. Okay. I didn't see a ton of different mechanics, but I saw like the interactions between the same mechanic and different colors of
Yeah.
Snake. That's kind of interesting.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, don't show them the mechanic too early. Sure.
All right. This is going places. This is going somewhere. This has like a direct. I'm never gonna use this thing. You know, I'm just drawing this for fun. But there's that. You know, I don't know. It was a thing. It was a thing. I have to start a new file. Let's see. A new folder. Thank you.
Oh, you're done. Wow, that was quick, bud.
Yeah.
That was very
Where's a
fast.
new folder? How do I do that? Here we go.
You're okay, buddy. You're okay. You don't need to throw up everything you just ate, I promise.
Yep. Don't do it. Keep it in
Okay.
there.
You're good, buddy. You're good.
Yep. It'll stay in there. You just keep fighting it. Oh, let's see if I can work on this fan art for this game instead.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's been a really long time since I drew people. Part of me is really intimidated by this.
Yeah. Playtesters. Playtesters for puzzle games are critical. Absolutely. Okay, too minimal. Don't need amazing aesthetics, yada yada. Comes down to the game, not just how it looks. Players will judge a game by its cover. On the App Store icon. Let's go against because the icon just didn't stick out. Sure. Okay. That's just like general, like design stuff, not anything about the gameplay, but sure. It's about like the icon and the art style. Like, don't
Yeah.
be too minimal, but don't be like too crowded. It's like,
Whoa.
yeah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what advice. Wow.
Right? I mean, like, they're not wrong, but
No, but interesting. Ugh, I don't feel like I captured this person correctly. I don't feel like I got this. Hmm. You know?
yeah. Alright, other than the first one, this really wasn't that useful of an article, but hey, it is what it is. A good puzzle game is hard to build. How long are you?
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
kinda long. This maybe save you for later. Hey, buddy. Come on. Calm down. You're okay. Chillax. Chill. Chill out. You're okay.
I like this artist's style, but I'm struggling. The character is wearing, he's supposed to be like a blacksmith character, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he looks like he's wearing skinny jeans because they're tucked into his shoes.
Yeah?
But he's like a big buff character. And I
Could
just don't see buff characters with skinny jeans often, you know?
could
I'm really like,
flare the legs out around the calves a little bit, and that would make it look less like
maybe,
that.
possibly. I just don't. I don't know. I had tried to draw him like waving, and
I
then
will say blacksmiths will have bigger upper bodies than lower bodies.
and he does. You know, he's got this
He's
big
got the
upper body
taper.
shape. He still comes down like a triangle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's about here-ish.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Looks about right.
He's still not very. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. He's not very like muscular in the legs, despite his pants.
Yeah.
He has big arms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's cute. He'd be the first character that I'd romance in this game. Guaranteed.
Alright. Gamma Sutra 4-step puzzle design.
I feel like I did not capture his wide shoulders very well.
Okay. Alright, we're getting close to the end of these guys here. That's cool. 4-step puzzle design is our next one.
Then there's that big part of me that wants to draw some super duper crazy perspective drawing of him like over an anvil or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I need an anvil.
Yeah.
I mean, I have one, but it's shitty. I need a different one.
Gosh, what that perspective look like?
Are you looking down at him from overhead?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Well, I'm figuring out where I want the horizon. Sorry. I moved that other one way off the page. I love this feature of this program, though. I do. I love it.
The little
But, like-
perspective tool.
Like if I go like this, maybe. But this has to be like way down there.
Mhm.
Zoom way out. Whoo, nope, even further. Jeepers. Yeah, bring it way down there. Okay, great. We are. Oh, man. Jeez. Yeah. Just start drawing my perspective lines here. Great. Yeah, let's go this way. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not the one I wanted you to go to, but thank you. Again, not the one I wanted you to go to. Yeah. So picky.
Just synthesizing two things that we've said probably doesn't need to be stated explicitly, but don't only understand the objective, but understand it first. Right, that's the whole don't give them the backwards puzzle, right? It's just two pieces that we're putting together. So, yeah, that one's kind of obvious, but yes, definitely important.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, not what I wanted to draw on. Thank you.
They kind of leave out the what's stopping me thing, but I guess they kind of roll it into their objective. Like, it's, I guess they're assuming it's not an objective unless there's an obstacle. Otherwise, it's just a path. Which, fair enough. Just different ways to approach the same kind of problem. Or the same kind of concept, rather. Yeah, so this is where, I guess, in their step 3 and step 4, that's kind of where my dichotomy between the cognition and execution would come into play.
Yeah.
So they have step 3, the player notices the association between the components and works out a solution in their head. And then step 4 is the player implements the solution and solves the puzzle. So in this dichotomy then, step 3 would be the really hefty one in puzzles of cognition, and step 4 would be the hefty one in puzzles of execution.
Okay.
Just as a... There's nothing
Yeah.
more than just a simple statement there. I wasn't
Yeah.
leading into anything, but yeah.
Okay. Just get this out of here. I might not make it much longer, Matt, just so you know.
That is okay.
Okay. Either when I'm hammering or like wiping sweat off his brow. I don't know.
I like the visual of having the blacksmith raising the hammer over his head.
Okay, I'd have to zoom out to get that visual.
Okay.
I went really close up for my perspective.
Oh, I see now where you're... Yeah. I see.
Yeah, because I wanted something in the foreground, and I was thinking of like...
You could have
I
a
don't know.
mid-swing.
Well, I mean, I can zoom him out. Part of me, I guess I should really, for this one, try to do the small thumbnail things. But like, part of me wanted to do like he's at the forge or something, except I was making it an old school forge, and I don't know if that's accurate for the game. And then like he could be standing over it doing something.
Are you talking about this game we're talking about now?
Oh,
In
hello.
hell,
No,
or-
I'm talking about Coral Island.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you... What?
No, yeah, this is the main character of our game, Matt. I've already designed. I've been really bored waiting for you to give.
I mean, I kind of figured. I was like, okay, sure, why not?
I actually have worked on some designs, but I didn't know how to sprite, so I didn't do very much.
Hmm.
Thanks for having so much faith in me, though. Yeah, because his shoulders are they're just too big for you to be able to see his swing coming up,
Yeah.
Yeah. I draw a hammer here. It looks like the hammer's coming for his head.
Alrighty. Experimentation can be a fun mechanic. No, everything gets to be immediately obvious. Yeah, for sure.
That's how you draw. So that's how it works. Absolutely. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Hello. Thank you. Blurg. Let's see. Oh, Dusk is out here. She's so stinking cute. She just curled up on the sofa. I love this cat. I do. Hi. Meow. I love you. I love you. Oh, you're so sleepy. Yeah. Meow. You say, Mom, shut the dang lights off. I'm trying to sleep. I will in a bit. Slow, a little bit longer, just 5 more minutes. But really, my creativity might be tapped out.
That is totally understandable. If you've got to go to bed,
Yeah.
go to bed.
Alright, you're right. Alright, I'll try to sketch something, maybe in my sketchbook to wind down from screen time.
Cool.
Shoot. Sure, you can save the changes to the document. Alright. Stop my streaming. Woo! Thanks, bro.
Yeah,
It was fun.
indeed it was.
Appreciate it. I hope you get much done.
Me too.
Okay.
Alright. Love you.
I love you too. Night.
Night.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. So I'm interested here in this like incremental progress bit because it gives me the, there's always this concept of failing forward, right? Even when they make a wrong move or a wrong choice, we want that to maybe reveal to them, like, okay, maybe that wasn't right, but you're close, right? And kind of give them that nudge in the right direction. And that's the hard part, right? The hard part of this is balancing the make it solvable with the make it hard. Because this, in number puzzles, I can do that pretty well. But these puzzles aren't just numbers. I think I should still be well suited to the challenge, but we'll see. We'll see, Just because someone can get through testing does not mean that's a good one. Just because a puzzle can be solved doesn't mean it's a good one. Isn't solving the problem. If they stumble to the solution. It's not as intriguing or satisfying. Yeah, that's definitely a good little tidbit. Okay. Many solutions. Asking the player to explain what they did after they finished the puzzle. Testers to explain the solution and approach. And questions asked after playtest. Oopsies. Sit with player during the playtest. Ask them to think aloud. Classic. Okay. Sure. Works for me. 4 steps. All right. Philosophy of puzzle design. All right, and this is another Josh Beiser piece. What was the last one? I actually don't know. Is there another Josh Beiser? No, Asher Einhorn. All right, Beiser, you're pretty good. Let's see what you have to offer us. Puzzle design of adventure genre is in itself a specific design, right? But many puzzle games are just a series of non-connected puzzles. We don't want that. We don't want a series of unconnected puzzles. Maybe look for quote-unquote story relations that can serve as echoes of previous puzzle solutions as well. mirrors, callbacks, whatever you want to call them. Okay. Right. I love it with games such as Portal, real-time physics and velocity, Braid, telling a story, Space Chem, really complicated with puzzle design. Yeah. Focus on presentation. Differentiate the successes of the puzzle genre. Indie puzzle games have taken to building a world around their puzzles, either connecting them with location or being used to advance plot. Like Grizz, brought a highly emotional story that captivated players as much as the problem solving. When we talk about puzzle design outside the adventure genre, there are two popular philosophies, nonlinear and linear. Linear versus nonlinear. Alright, foundation is linear puzzle versus nonlinear puzzle. Solve a task using the tools and mechanics, and there's only one valid solution. Even games that give the player real-time control can restrict players' options by limiting the control of the character while jumping, for example. Sokoban puzzles that challenge the player to move boxes to specific positions or create a path through a room. Handmade puzzles are a popular option for developers to flex their creative muscles and come up with ways to create brain teasers. For games built around a very specific or esoteric design, it is easier to onboard the player with guided puzzles. Sure. Okay. One valid solution. Not sure this is necessary. One final state, yes. Could be multiple ways to approach. And I think that's actually something I want to try and build into the game if I can. Might prove that it's just not what this game is for, especially since, like, the physical, well, the digital space that the puzzles are going to occupy is probably pretty small, relatively, for this game. So it might just not be enough room to make that a thing, but... One valid solution. Just use the tools and mechanics that are immediately available. Okay. Sokoban puzzles are the classic example. Sokoban is something I might want to look up as a keyword later for searches to see what we get. Hey, buddy. You go back in your chair, you think? We're making a lot of noise. Okay. Nonlinear. Options and goal. Perfect. Oh, well, that's what I just said. Merchant. Giveaway. And brain teasers. Okay, he is not a happy boy. What's up, bud? Hmm? Hmm. little darker, but that's a little better for him, I think. Alrighty. Good stuff. Okay. So what am I looking at? Quasi-linear? Okay. Manipulate whatever starting options. Sure, linear puzzles that are able to alter or change. Any solution that meets the need is considered a good one. This is thing is the correct solution to a non-linear puzzle. Infinifactory. There are people who go for very minimalist solutions and some who go for Rube Goldberg master contraptions. Yeah, that's fair. So okay, so this is still just talking about non-linear, right? Sure. Yeah, so linear often puts tools within the puzzle itself. Often teaches a toolkit and carries it between puzzles. So I feel like we are looking at like a quasi-linear puzzle design because we have tools that are, I mean, they're immediately available because it's a small set of tools that you have for everything. But it's also like you're not changing the game space in any meaningful way, and you might have multiple solutions though. But like it's not going to be like a huge design space or a huge solution space. It's like 3 or 4. You know, it's not like go hog wild and create one. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Onboarding. Like action games, getting the player in the right mindset is hard. Mindset / building their skills with games. Mechanics is hard. You can walk through rules. Understanding is different. Build on difficulty. Introduce ideas slowly. Combine them. Teach the player the hidden rules that govern how your puzzles work, what I'll call as a unit. And that's that kind of, playing off of one another and having that kind of set of like, how like, I guess, what actually a great example is Catherine, right? Um, it literally has like techniques that you string together in the various puzzles to solve them and get, forward progress. And so even though the puzzles might present you with vastly different overall arrays, you will find situations where like, oh, okay, I could use this particular technique or I could use that technique. Both would actually get me up a level, right? So it's that kind of thing when I say as a unit, it's like those techniques work across several different puzzles. You can kind of thread them through the game. Okay. The thought wall. That's an interesting one. Okay. Skill floor and a skill ceiling. Sure. Yep. Casual or simple games compared to brutal games. Sure, whatever. The reason has to do with the wall. Fails or get stuck in a section. In action games, getting stuck just means that you beat the boss and do it, and then it's like, hell yeah, I did it. Motivation for everyone who plays a Souls-like or a Kaizo. Yeah, absolutely. Playing the game becomes an exercise to train the player to overcome the challenge. Yep. And Souls-likes, the reason wow. The reason why they seem to get easier over the course is that the player's grown in terms of mastery. Yeah, sure. Skill floor and ceiling are relatively close. Yeah, I guess if you define a skill floor as like, well, I don't know. I guess relatively close as far as like other genres. Sure. Same can't be said of puzzle games. They're very design or black and white in terms of solving them. You either solve it or you don't. Action games, easy victories to nail biters and everything in between. No such thing as training for the next puzzle. I mean, that's not really true. Knowledge and skill translate from one challenge to the next, except that they should. For action games, it kind of comes naturally. Okay. In the puzzle game, filament, the player's goal in each puzzle does not change. Take a coil, wrap it around every tower to power them. It does change the objects and process to solve each. Yeah. In the previous section, we talked about emergent gameplay. Yeah, of course. Next to that, make that connection for one reason or another. Then this is where they hit the wall of playing the puzzle game, and when that happens, the enjoyment of the game nosedives. When someone gets stuck on a puzzle, they come to a halt, there's nothing they can do other than solve the puzzle. They're more frustrating in the grand scheme of things. You have options when it comes to designing multiple ways of progression, and those options can be applied to a puzzle game. Yes. Once they skip a puzzle, yes, it becomes more likely. Yeah, for sure. Therefore, the drop-off rate of people playing a puzzle game often nosedive even sharper than action games. Further still, puzzle games that boast 100 different puzzles, it's very unlikely that people are going to finish all of them without having something else to focus on. For sure. That's why I think I want, like, a decent number of rooms, but, like, I'm not going to try and make the game as far as length. Instant solve. Ooh, that's a good one. I like it. Comments. Partial complete. Let the player complete maybe 70% of the puzzles on a level. They can move on, not 100%. Yeah, that's clever. I like it. Cool. Alright, 2 more. Puzzle genre is one of the most popular. Learning Tetris, the brain melting experience, is designed by Zectronics. It's another Josh Beiser. Wait, is this the same damn article? Yes, it is. Okay, that's easy. Done. Let's see if there's anything useful in the comments on Medium. Ooh, Game Maker's Notebook. Excellent. That'll be a good way to finish out the evening, I think. Yeah. Okay, so this is another long one. I think I might want to skim this one, just so that we can get to a review point, and then maybe start doing some actual design work. Instead of just research, kind of nail down the initial bits, see what we like. Alright, so this one. How to make a puzzle game? No. A good. Oh, jeez. It's hard to build. Rock, paper, shotgun. Hell yeah. Let's do it. Aesthetics of puzzle game design. Yay, understanding them. What do you produce? A eureka moment. I hope you'll tell me. A good snowman is hard to build. Funny. Watch friends troll his own games in regular Ludum Dare highlight. Oh, have I played some of his games before? This website looks familiar. I see. I see. Okay, that's pretty cool. Alright. I just dicked around, sorry. Definitely techniques and skills. Not sure I could lay out for you what those are, because it's an art, not a science. Yeah, okay. Oh dear, this could be a short article. What? They wouldn't provide a bullet-pointed recipe for the perfect puzzle? Ugh. This is... Okay. Harsh days. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Minimalism, elegance, Ambition. Good puzzle wants to be solved. Yeah, provides the players with the tool necessary, might even coax, but it lets them stand on their own 2 feet. And anthropomorphizing puzzles a little bit, which I think is useful. Good puzzle leads the designer to help design the puzzle. And often in the process of this designer, if this happening, the designer says, oh yes, I can reflect some of these same things that I followed, and have the puzzle also communicate to the player. Note how puzzle forms in your head. Logic. Art behind its creation. And attempt to convey that to the player. Here's about how cryptic you want, yeah, the end result to be. Less of this. More cryptic puzzles. Maybe I can't say that. There's a category of puzzles that want to be solved that try and manipulate the player, but they haven't given the solution. Do you have what they should be doing? Another class that I don't like so much, where there are a lot of elements and one of them is the key. You have to figure out, and the rest of the puzzle is very simple. A lot of Sokoban levels are like this. There's a crux somewhere, and the rest of it is rope pushing blocks around. An unsolved puzzle. The tree falling in the forest with no one there. What's purpose? Okay, sure. Learning and solving is the fun. Sure, yeah, that makes sense. The acceleration to me is thinking about new things in the way that the world works. Yeah, designing towards that is a case of breaking down the elements you could use at that moment and working out how to introduce them in a way that is neither overwhelming nor so guided that there's no revelation. Okay. Designing towards that. It's a case of breaking down the elements that you could use at those moments. I'm guessing that means at. That's supposed to be at. Use finding a need to introduce them. It balances guidance with pacing and self-sufficiency. I like it. I like it. Cool. This explains the difference in texture between puzzle games, but is broadly applicable to any game in which the mechanics are learned and mastered. Okay, papers please. Is that a header? No. Looks like that looks like chemistry. Few advanced techniques, but by and large, the approach to solving the puzzle is broadly similar to any other. Any one puzzle is similar to any other. You want to make levels feel different, at least Hazelden does. Making puzzles unique or guiding the player to new solution spaces. Without mechanics or exploring a mechanic to a greater depth. Whew, words are hard. All right. Puzzles escalate to extreme level of difficulty. Don't introduce new ideas at the speed required to generate an engaging sense of pace. That's fair. During periods of many puzzles, the sequence felt like reconfiguration of the same conundrum. I'd say, as somebody who is not a connoisseur of puzzle games, I only felt that a couple of times with the Talos Principle, but I could see, like, if you were very good at them, some more of those puzzles would probably feel like variations on a theme rather than a new and fresh idea or puzzle to solve. Okay. Don't. And move on. Teach it, integrate it, and move on. Making a puzzle is a lot like solving one. Sometimes they're a language with nouns and verbs. Sometimes they're mechanics or machines. Interactions of nouns and verbs as mechanics, while Hazelden calls these things tools. Finding the initial set of mechanics that will support an entire puzzle game is tricky. Rich enough in possibility to be recombined into interesting ways, but they cannot be so complex that they create a chaos from which no singular solution can be intuited. Balance of richness of mechanical interactions with avoiding a complexity that stops the player from seeing that becomes chaos. That's honestly a good way of saying it. Okay. Process discovery is about trial and error. Small prototypes. A lot of scope with one. Okay. Make small prototypes and play around. The inciting notion was that the player loses control of the avatar whenever it spots an enemy. The avatar flees, it is spike pits or other hazards. It's very fundamental. Everything else in the game was what could we do that's interesting given that mechanic is fundamental. Build around a small or even singular set of mechanics. Use the tools for solving the puzzles to make them. Some designers, I'm not sure if this will work for me, but we'll try it out. Start with an aesthetic design to the puzzle itself and go from there. First time is never anything interesting. It's impossible or trivial, but then you react to that and go, I had something here and that trivial solution is no longer possible, or if I remove that wall, then maybe this will become solvable. Okay. Iterative and explorative. Of course, we don't want too iterative and explorative in our solutions, but you know. The explorations I'm doing, what I'll typically do is first sit in front of a level editor and jam out a load of things that might be interesting. They might not be puzzles. Okay, so I think a level editor is kind of necessary for a game like this. Level editor, definitely necessary. Which might mean I could make it a community thing too. Things interact, working out what the toolset is, interesting things instead of mechanics. Yeah. Okay. Right, we were gonna skim this. Okay. I like this whole paragraph. I'm actually just going to quote it. Okay. Should know what the point is. Remove things that don't contribute. Some noise is, of course, needed for misdirection. But only use the minimum necessary. I'll just, instead of putting that long-winded thing, I'll just say distraction can be a contribution. call them baffles. It's not really I don't think it's a word that's often applied to this kind of design, but I think it works. So whatever, right? All right. This is unfortunately this is the kind of content that I think doesn't draw a lot of an audience. It's just kind of mundane, but that's largely because I wouldn't say because that is at odds with the fact that it's also the kind of concept that'd be the most fun to talk about with other people as I'm going through it. But nobody wants to just like look at me writing text and reading text. Understandable. I know I wouldn't. Alright, elegance is not just a lack of irrelevance, but a demonstration of that self-knowledge Blood talks about, of understanding what is to be taught. I'll say knows what it's about. As in addition to knowing what the point is, it knows what it's about. Doesn't need to be flashy. Sorry, yeah. Not just isn't flashy. Doesn't need to be. Knows it. And knows what it is instead. It's a very weird, flimsy way of putting it, but I think it works. Corollary is that increasing resolution to suddenly will be a lot more annoying to play. Certain range of how far you gotta bounce off the mirror. It's a small countable number, normally between 1 and 8. Imagine if that was between 1 and 400, and you needed between 370 and 275 to solve a puzzle. There's a fiddliness that doesn't have anything to do with the clarity of the core concept. Yeah, sure. At times, a laser focus can be traded for a broader intent. Fez externalizes many of its puzzles to a meta layer of cryptography separate from the platforming challenge of the world. One of the things that makes it a game I wouldn't have designed. Games I've been doing lately are focused around a central idea and everything contributes to that. In my version of Fez, every single thing in the game would have been about collapsing 3D to 2D by rotating the levels. However, that's a certain kind of design, concentration and focus on one idea. Fez is a different thing. Wait, what are they talking about? A meta layer of cryptography? Oh, okay. Left without guidance to determine whether game elements are decipherable sub-puzzles or simply false signals. Warp gates, obelisks, tetrominos, ciphered alphabet, QR codes. Okay, interesting. Alright. There are dangers. You can end up making something really confusing or incoherent. Benefits there too. I don't really, having not played the game, I don't think I get what they're talking about there, but that's fine. Ambition elevates all. Don't need to deliver a primer and Cartesian ontology along with your puzzles. You know. Your consumption of the player's time. Where's it going? What can you hope to use these puzzles to teach? English country tune. Starts off as a Sokomon style block puzzle, spins off crazy. Solve it under certain preconditions. Wait, what? Try to transcend from solver to creator, yet still within this context of a larger. That's so weird. I'd play tipped. Contender of the best puzzle game of all time. Which would have been fine. And it goes way beyond where you would have expected. Would have been fine if it had only done that. Also probably an acquired taste. That's fair. The game goes. Some of the places the game goes that contribute to the game being so good, it only is allowed to go there because it's allowing itself to be a bit player unfriendly. I feel this is somewhat erratic quality control. Amber is really interesting because he was working that game for like 5 or 6 years, and he got better during that time. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Cool. English country tune. Hmm. Nice. That's cool. I might buy that just to experience it. I'll throw it on my wish list. Why not?
You know, anything else I may have said about difficult levels, you can just throw all that out the window. This world is insane. Not only do they introduce a new mechanic, basically from the planting levels, where previously you would walk over a square and it would plant a shrubbery, now you have to walk over 2 squares in order for it to plant a shrubbery. Like so. Notice how only on alternate flips does it do anything. Moreover, in this world, you not only have to use this new mechanic, you actually also have to design the level which fulfills the goal. In this level, the goal is to fully insulate a level. That is, design a level that you can walk over it with these half steps and cover all surfaces with those shrubberies. This took me quite a while to figure out. I spent a lot of time messing around with patterns that look like regular shapes like this. You use this button in the middle to plant your square, and then you go walking. I started doing a lot of this, and then I noticed that I was having a lot of trouble filling in some of these gaps. I would always end up with these gaps left over, and I would get trapped in ways like this. After kind of teasing apart the mechanics for quite a bit, I stumbled upon...
Do I want to watch this if I'm going to play it? There's no way I'll remember about that time I finished the game.
the fact that having lots of corners seems to help. There's a few kind of techniques that you can use to plant around corners and then kind of move around the square. For instance, by doing something as simple as that, it covers, you know, 1 square almost all the way. Actually, if I continue flipping, I will. I don't have a real methodical way of doing this. I end up kind of traversing the rest of this as well as I can, but with a formation like this, you actually can solve this. So let me give it a try. There's probably going to be some undos. If I'm lucky, there won't be. I think I'm going to get lucky. Here we go. Perfect.
Nice. All right. Cool. And that's it for the night.
Episode of this show that I've wanted to make but have never had the guts to actually attempt, it's this one, puzzle design. Because I love puzzle games, like the time-travelling platformer Braid, the comedy sci-fi gem Portal, and the cult hit Steven's Sausage Roll, but I have no idea what actually goes into making one of the puzzles for these games. How do you make something that leaves a player stumped and scratching their head, and then makes them feel very smart when they finally figure out the answer? What makes a puzzle too hard, or too easy? And so that's what I've been trying to figure out these past few months. I've been talking to the creators of great puzzle games, tried making my own puzzles in different editors, revisited my video on Jonathan Blow's puzzle design philosophy, and have analysed loads and loads of different levels from different games. And in this episode, I'm going to share what I found out. So this is Game Maker's Toolkit. I'm
I love
Mark
this
Brown,
guy.
and
He's
here's what I
great.
think makes a good puzzle. Every puzzle game starts with its mechanics, a set of ironclad rules that govern how the game works. So in a game like Cosmic Express, you can draw train tracks on a grid, but you can't cross over the tracks. One alien can jump into each train car and then hop out into the first box of the same colour they pass by. These rules, and perhaps more importantly, these limitations, are used to create puzzles. The fact that you can't cross over tracks, for example, might stop you getting back through a tight gap, forcing you to find a different approach. The overall, let's say, cleverness of the main mechanic will ultimately decide the number and difficulty of the puzzles in the game, and so this favours outlandish concepts like time travel and wormholes, as well as
I totally missed the name of the game, but whatever. The train track game. Of how many cars you have. So how many aliens you can load up before dropping them off. Excuse me.
funky movement controls like those found in Snakebird. The way these creatures move, how their body find a different approach. The overall, let's say, cleverness of the main mechanic will ultimately decide the number and difficulty of the puzzles in the game, and so this favours outlandish concepts like time travel and wormholes, as well as funky movement controls like those found in Snakebird. The way these creatures move, how their body follows their head, how they're affected by gravity, the way eating fruit makes you longer, which is both a blessing and a curse, all leads to creative puzzles. Of course, temporary tools can be used to augment the main mechanic, like light bridges, coloured paint, and turrets in the Portal games. And they can even be used in place of a main mechanic, as in a game like the Talos Principle, which generates all of its puzzles from external sources like jammers, cubes, and repeaters. Mechanics that can combine together create even more possibilities. A puzzle game also needs a goal. This is usually just an exit door or some kind of collectible. The important thing is that it's clear what the player is trying to achieve. The player shouldn't be figuring out what to do, just how to do it. Okay, now it's time to actually make a puzzle. So I think a good puzzle is often built around a catch, which is a logical contradiction where two things are seemingly in direct conflict with one another. Here's the absolute most basic version of that idea, just to help explain what I mean. There's a door and a button. Standing on the button opens the door, but when you walk to the door, the button raises back up and the door shuts. You need to stand on the button and you need to walk to the door, but you can't do both because doing one makes the other impossible. The solution, of course, is to put a box on the button. So that's a really crappy example, but I think you can find some version of this conflict at the heart of every good puzzle. Here's an example from the Talos Principle, where at this point in the game, we're using these tripods to route coloured light beams from these orbs to these panels, which makes nearby doors open. So after a bit of messing around, we've got the puzzle like this. Two tripods are being used to get blue light to this panel and open a door, and one tripod is being used to get red light to this panel and open another door. But unfortunately, we need to put one of those tripods on this pressure-sensitive switch. Now the plan actually seems quite simple. Send red light to panel C to open this door, and then use the opening to send blue light to A with just one tripod instead of two. Except, here's that catch. You can't get red light to panel C without already having blue light in panel A. So if you remove either of these tripods, this door will shut and put a stop to your plan. Now, resolving a conflict like this can come in many forms. Sometimes it's about changing the sequence of events that led up to the conflict. Other times it's about rethinking your spatial position, perhaps starting the puzzle from a different location. But there's another way that I think is the gold standard that every puzzle designer Except, here's that catch. You can't get red light to panel C without all like this can come in many forms. Sometimes it's about changing the sequence of events that led up to the conflict. Other times it's about rethinking your spatial position, perhaps starting the puzzle from a different location. But there's another way that I think is the gold standard that every puzzle designer should be shooting for. So the solution to that puzzle in the Talos principle is to make this tripod connect to the other tripod and panel A, even though the door is in the way, because when you then open the door with the red beam, the connection is made and you can remove the second tripod without breaking the link. This puzzle is incredibly simple once you know the answer, and it's effortless to actually execute the solution, which is always a plus in my
Cognition
book.
versus
But it's
execution,
still really
right there.
challenging, and that's because it asks you to think outside the box, reconsider how the game works, and approach the concept in a lateral manner. And beyond that, it also reveals a non-obvious, but also totally logical consequence of the game's rules that now become a part of your toolbox going forward. And in fact, this Talos principle solution does crop up in future puzzles as just one part of a larger conundrum. So, solving the puzzle is like a revelation, a discovery, an epiphany of some deeper understanding. And I think that's often where those eureka moments come from. Now, they can be quite significant revelations. So in the time-traveling puzzler PB Winterbottom, you've got this conundrum where you need to record a clone to help you pick up pies in numerical order, but picking up pi 3 cuts off access to pi 4. After a lot of messing about, you'll eventually realize that clones loop when they reach the end of the recording. So if you have the clone start at pi number 4, it will appear there when it finishes its recording and loops back around. Boom. Revelation. But often they're just tiny, subtle things that you might not even think of as being important lessons. Like in Snakebird, where you need to understand that the bird can change shape and fall in the same turn to create shapes that protect you from spikes. Now this is actually a very delicate balance to hit, because when you're asking the player to think outside the box and do things that are perhaps not obvious or not entirely intuitive, you could leave the player thinking, oh, I literally didn't even know I could do that, often after looking up the answer in a walkthrough. Here's an example of that from Braid, which largely has excellent
Hey, buddy, come on now. You're okay. You're okay. Alright, it is like 2 o'clock. Nobody wants to watch this shit. I shouldn't have even streamed it to begin with. It was probably a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Just not a, like, I don't know. This just isn't the interesting part of the process to stream. Might do some, like, actual design work streaming on it later. But yeah, the research part, you just watch me write a report, basically. So, yeah. You know, we'll make something out of this report later. I'll probably do a quick summary of this and then get into real design work. I'll probably have already started that design work, but, you know, is what it is. All right, thanks for joining, and see you next time. Stay stoic.